My roommate tried to force me out, so I got her evicted instead. I came home from college classes one day to find my roommate and best friend Lisa sitting on the couch with her lazy boyfriend, Rick, sitting next to her. Lisa glanced at me as soon as I walked through the front door. "We need to talk," she announced seriously. I raised an eyebrow and dropped my wallet and keys off on the table by the door. Then I joined them in the living room, sitting on my favorite chair. "What's up?" I asked. Lisa and Rick exchanged glances before Rick picked up his phone and began casually scrolling on it, ignoring us. Lisa sighed. "Since Rick is always here, I figured he could take your bedroom," she said after a little hesitation. I paused and stared at her. Sure, I heard her wrong. "You want to give my bedroom to your boyfriend who isn't even on the lease of this house?" I demanded harshly. Lisa glared at me. "Rick deserves to be here as much as we do," she snapped. "And yes, I have it all figured out. We turned the basement into a bedroom and Rick stays in your room." I glanced between the two of them and realized their minds were already made up. "You think he has a right to be here?" I asked quietly. "Does he pay rent? Does he pay any of the bills? What does he contribute except more dirty dishes and smelly laundry?" I was breathing hard by the time I finished speaking. Lisa stared at me with anger in her eyes. "He's been having a hard time lately," she defended him. "Leave him alone. This is about you being too selfish to give something up." I laughed coldly. "You think I'm too selfish to give up my room? Why does he need my room anyways when he sleeps with you every night?" Lisa wouldn't look at me as she answered, "My room is too small for us." I glanced between them again in disbelief. "Unbelievable," I hissed. Rick finally slammed his phone down on the glass coffee table in a fit of anger, eyes blazing as he glared at me. "Just stop being a selfish bitch and let me use your room," he snarled before snatching up his phone and storming out of the room. Lisa sighed as if I was the one being unreasonable. "I expected better from you," she said with a small disappointed headshake. Then she left the living room as well, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I almost laughed at how ridiculous this was. I didn't even think that Lisa and Rick were that serious, considering I had seen Rick on a date with another girl just the other day. He must be cheating on her. I shook my head at myself and headed down the hall to my room. I froze when I opened the door. None of my stuff was inside. My bed was gone, along with my dresser and desk. All of my belongings were gone. None of my clothes were in the closet. Instead, I found workout equipment in my room, a treadmill and a step machine including some weights and mats. My jaw dropped as I just stared. Then anger filled me. They didn't even wait to ask me if this was okay. They just moved my stuff without permission. I headed to the basement where my bed was sitting against the far wall. My mattress was on the floor collecting dust, and my dresser was obviously thrown down the stairs, lying in several pieces on the floor. My desk was placed more carefully considering it had my PC set up on it. Angry tears entered my eyes and I stormed up the stairs to Lisa's bedroom, banging on her door. She opened the door with wide eyes staring at me. "What?" she demanded. "You moved all my stuff?" I snapped. She rolled her eyes. "No, Rick did," she said with a shrug. She turned to close her door, but I grabbed her shoulder and yanked her out of her room hard enough to throw her against the wall. I probably looked like a monster as I advanced on my best friend. "Jamie, wait," she said to me, raising her hands in surrender. "I'm sorry, okay? You have no idea what you did," I snarled. "You had no right to take my stuff and move them to the basement. Your stupid boyfriend isn't even on the lease. I could have him removed from our property." She instantly paled. "Please, don't." But I was done. I called the landlord and told him the situation. He immediately sent an eviction notice, but what I didn't realize was that the eviction notice was for Lisa too, not just Rick. Lisa came to me crying a few days later, saying I ruined her life and now they were going to be homeless because I was so selfish. I laughed in her face and told her to get out. "We're done," I said coldly. "You threw away our friendship for a cheater." I watched her face pale even further as she turned to Rick, who was white as snow. I left them on my front porch screaming at each other until someone called the cops and had them removed from the neighborhood.